Hello my bookworms, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney and today's video will be my Spin the Bottle TBR for July. So hey, what's up? How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. If this is the first Spin the Bottle TBR that you are landing on, I will have the playlist linked down below in the description for you to go back and watch them if you would like. The rules have changed since I started doing this game, and now the first thing we do at the beginning of every month is look back at the previous month and see if I completed my Spin the Bottle TBR. And this is the stack that I was to read to successfully complete my TBR in June. I didn't do it, but here's the thing. The only one I will have not started is Seasonal Fears by Sean and McGuire, and I just am 100% not in the mood for it. I don't know. There are just so many others that I wanted to read this month. And that being said, July was Pride Month and I mood read quite a few queer books, which was, I'm gonna put this down, which was a phenomenal time. On top of reading a few extra queer books this last month, what I also am almost done reading right now, I need a round of applause, is Jade Legacy. And I am unprepared for what it is going to do to me. And let me say, Rage of Dragons is next on my list after I finish Jade Legacy. But even though that means that I hadn't read Seasonal Fears by Sean and McGuire, I refuse to take a punishment. And let me tell you why. Because this past month I have been trying to be Superwoman, basically. We are at a point in our new house where I can actually participate in a lot of the things going on. So quite literally, I have not had a day like today when I am home in the middle of the day filming, doing bookish things in a long time. Because every free day I have been at our new house either painting, caulking some trim, or doing God knows what. Or just like running around the city shopping for things that we need to buy for the house, you know? On top of doing all of that this last month and reading 90% of my TBR, I also read 3 other books, including Jade Legacy, which is literally huge. So I'm just like, I've had a really good month. I am not going to end this month with a punishment. Not here for it. Plus, the reason enough that I actually finished the Greenbone Saga this month should be enough to not get a punishment, because so there will be no punishment or reward prompt from my little jar this month, which I am absolutely okay with. And the next thing that we go over every single month is my swig program, which means if I successfully complete a monthly goal that I set out for myself, then I get a swig, which is a swap. My monthly goal for myself is to work out or exercise, move my body 3 times a week. And I've been doing really well. So last month was the first time that I successfully completed that task, and I did it again this month, so that's phenomenal. Last month I did use my swig right away in last month's game, if you remember, so I don't have one from last month, but I just accrued another one from this month, so that's phenomenal. Very excited about that. I can keep that in my back pocket and use it during today's game, or I can save it for throughout the month and just swap one whenever I heckin' feel like it. So keep that in mind, but other than that, we can get on into the game, and the first spin will be my Patreon only spin. All of the prompts are submitted to me from my patrons, and then after that we will mix and mingle and continue the game. Starting off really strong. The prompt is fine, but we immediately got a +1 spin, so we will automatically be spinning 6 times today instead of just 5. But the prompt itself, I'm actually really excited about. It was read one of your patrons' favorite books, and I have a stack of books sitting over here that I really want to get to this next month. So I sent a picture of them to my patrons because I know for a fact that some of these books in this stack have been ranted and raved about within the Discord, and I wanted to see if any of these books my patrons consider like one of their favorite books. And I was like, whichever one of you responds first wins. And it was really close. It was a close call, but Mags actually responded first, and the book that I will be reading, which is one of her favorite books, is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. I've heard great things about this. I know a few of my patrons have actually talked about this book. Oh my god. And it was gifted to me by Loukia, one of my patrons, and it literally says in the note, one of my faves of all time. So that could have immediately solved the issue. But that definitely solidifies the choice. We will be reading How High We Go in the Dark. This is a spellbinding and profoundly prescient debut that follows a cast of intricately linked characters over hundreds of years as humanity struggles to rebuild itself in the aftermath of a climate plague. A daring and deeply heartfelt work of mind-bending imagination from a singular new voice. Again, I've heard obviously great things about it. So my patrons really love it, obviously, and I am just excited to get it on the TBR. So we will add another spin at the end of this tally, and we will go on to spin number 2. We got read the shortest book on your shelf. I was originally going to go to my Goodreads like want to read shelf, but 1, I know that it's not completely up to date, and 2, I'm pretty sure that a book that I got in the mail yesterday is my shortest book on my TBR. So I looked on my Goodreads want to read shelf, and the shortest book on that shelf is Memento by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which is the like novella in the Illuminae files. And that book is 84 pages long, either 84 or 86. I don't entirely remember, but the book that I got in the mail yesterday definitely is a touch shorter. And that book is by Frederick Bachman, and it is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. I'm unprepared for this book. I know that it just makes people sob, and I am nervous about it. And I feel anxiety when thinking about this book. It says that Frederick Bachman has rendered an exquisitely moving portrait of an elderly man's struggle to hold on to his most precious memories and his family's efforts to care for him, even as they must find a way to let go. At the top it says, "Isn't that the best of all life's ages?" An old man thinks as he looks at his grandchild, when a boy is just big enough to know how the world works but still young enough to refuse to accept it. That's so cute. This is definitely the shortest book on my TBR. It's a whopping 76 pages, so not even breaking the 80 mark. Definitely shorter than Memento. Plus it's like super small, so it has to be like word count wise also shorter than anything else I own, I think. But this book is definitely on the TBR now, and we can go on to spin number 3. Oh, spin number 3 is kind of fun. So this is read a book from a haul that is from 1 year or longer ago. Oh boy, okay. So I'm going to have to scroll down to a year ago. So I posted a book haul in June of 2021, which is where we are right now. So like a exact year ago, I posted a book haul. Or I should go to the very first haul that, that I did. Oh, this is gonna be weird. Oh no. I really don't know if I want to be doing this, but let's go to the very first book haul that I ever posted. Oh, this was back when my name was Lexicon Onomatopoeia. Okay, so it looks like there's some wayward, I made chapters on this video. Who was I? Language of Thorns, The One by John Marr, Dig by A.S. King, Skyward. Oh, wow, I've had that for 2 years. I just read it like 2 months ago. Heartstopper, Pride and Prejudice, oh god. Platform 7, no. Siddhartha, oh shit. Crescent City, aw, memories. Okay, hold on, wait. Caleb is continuously telling me about how he wanted me to read Siddhartha for so long, and then I was going to read it like 2 years ago and I never did. It feels like I should pick that even though I don't really want to read that right now. Man, I really didn't start posting hauls until last year. Like my whole first year, I only did that one haul. I remember that doing hauls in the beginning really stressed me out because I didn't know what to say about each book. I was just like overthinking it to the max, so I never filmed them. Hold on, I have this huge birthday book unboxing that has almost 50,000 views, which is absurd, but this was definitely over a year ago. So we have Horrid by Katrina Leno, House in the Cerulean Sea, The Kiss Quotient, From Blood and Ash, Nevermore, ooh, House of Dragons, Strange the Dreamer, Last True Poets. Oh, Okay, so in this book haul, at the end, I got a few more packages that I just like quickly filmed, like hey, I also got these books and whatever else. So in that clip, over a year ago, City of Brass is there. And in my book club, we're starting another series read along, and it is actually the David trilogy. So even though I've already read it, I need to reread it in order to know what the heck is going on for books 2 and 3. I'm gonna pick City of Brass. But like in my heart, I genuinely feel so bad for not reading Siddhartha. Like Caleb brings it up more than you guys think. So in addition to my reread of City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, which I have already tabbed up and absolutely love, in solidarity and only for Caleb because I love him, I will also be choosing Siddhartha. I mean, it's super short. The font is really, really tiny, but it is only 98 pages, which in this story, if you don't know what Siddhartha is, it's basically following a man on a spiritual journey of self-discovery during the time of the first Buddha. Siddhartha is the son of a wealthy Brahmin family who decides to leave his home in the hopes of gaining spiritual illumination. Siddhartha is joined by his best friend Govinda, and the two renounce their earthly possessions, engage in ritual fasting and intense meditation, and ultimately seek out to speak with the original Buddha. It's a work that deals with the quest that we all undertake in some way or another to define our lives in an environment of conflicting dualities and ultimately find spiritual awareness. And this is obviously a book that Caleb had me buy during my very first book haul here on BookTube, so I feel like I have to also put this in the mix, literally just for him. And now let's go on to spin number 4. On spin number 4, we actually got this prompt last month. You see that I mix them every single month, but somehow we got this one again, which isn't bad, but it definitely is a prompt that I have zero control over. So sometimes, you know, you can weasel your way through a prompt and like make things work that might not work, but this is like, you have to choose a book that starts with this letter. So let me go to the letter picker wheel, and I guess God, I hate this. Let's spin and see what I'm sweating. I'm so anxious. B? Wait. Wait. My time has come. My first copy of this book got lost in the mail, so then the bookseller sent me a new one for free, which was very kind of them. And it also starts with the letter B. And it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Like, do you believe it? I don't. For Emily Henry being one of my favorite authors, it feels wrong that I haven't read this one yet. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, but I honestly, like, I can't imagine a book by this author being bad. So I am literally not listening to any of you. So I'm very excited to be reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I'm such a hoe for her. I literally can't handle how much I love the synopsis. It sounds so good. It's about our main character, Nora, who's a cutthroat literary agent, and she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls with her little sister, Libby, for like a trip away together. But instead of picnics and meadows or run-ins with a handsome country doctor or bulging four-armed bartender, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city, and it would be a meet cute if not for the fact that they've met many times and it's never been cute. If Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they are thrown together again and again, in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. I am just happy. I'm happy about it, and y'all can just let me be happy. Very excited to finally read Emily Henry's newest book. And you guys know that I keep tally of all the spaces that I land on, you know, during my games. This whole freaking year, I haven't landed on Phone a Friend or a challenge. What even is this game? Those were like the most used spaces during my first year of playing this game, and now I haven't hit them once. I really hope that me by voicing this and manifesting it out loud makes it happen. But in the meantime, we can go on to spin number 5. Spin number 5, we got read a 5-star prediction. Always a welcome prompt. We love that one. And I literally have my choice in my hands, but now I'm second guessing it. Gosh darn it. Okay, I'm going to do this before I back out. The choice that I'm picking is one from my last 5-star prediction video, and I wasn't going to pick it until I sat here and thought about it. I was going to choose something that I recently hauled because I'm really excited about it, but this book has been on my TBR since it came out. I know in my bones that I would really enjoy it, so I'm putting it on this TBR to force myself to read it because it's time. It's freaking time to read Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. This is a moment. Can we talk about this? Gosh darn it, I have to do this. Okay, in Yolk, we have two sisters who are nothing alike, Jane and June. Once thick as thieves, these sisters who moved from Seoul to San Antonio and finally to New York don't want anything to do with each other until June gets cancer and Jane becomes the only one who can help her. Flung together by sickness and bound by family secrets, will these sisters learn more about themselves and each other than they're willing to confront? I know for a fact I'm going to enjoy this. It has been a 5-star prediction from the beginning of this book's existence, and I just haven't picked it up, so this is what's happening. This is going on the TBR finally. Okay, I feel fine about it. I feel good about it. I just originally was going to pick other things, but it's fine. I'll get to the new books eventually. And then let's go on to spin number 6, which is hopefully our last spin. Okay, hold the phone. Literally hold the phone. I literally was just talking about the fact that I haven't had a phone a friend or challenge prompt since the beginning of this year. And here we are, phoning a friend. I just messaged Jan because I know for a fact that she will respond the quickest. And I asked her if she had time for a video call just to give me like a prompt for a book or to just like pick a book for me outright. I'm at work, but she said use this pic as your video call screen recording. So here we are, we're on the phone. Hey, what's up, Jan? It's Sydney with a nerdy bookish video. But she chose, as you can see, A Dowry of Blood, which is literally her brand. It's literally her book. So let me go grab it. I guess we're reading A Dowry of Blood. Okay, so we are reading Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I've had this book for a while, and Casey got it for me for my birthday last year. Wow, thank you so much. But A Dowry of Blood is a lyrical and dreamy reimagining of Dracula's Brides, a story of desire, obsession, and emancipation. And I genuinely don't know how I'm going to find it. I know that it's Jen's all-time favorite book. She's reread it multiple times. So for those reasons, I'm really excited to experience this story. I just don't really know what to expect. All I know is that I really love this cover and we are going to read it this month in July. So this is the stack that is my July TBR. 6 books, but a lot of them are kind of short. I don't feel super intimidated by this stack, especially because City of Brass is a reread for me. However, I did not get the books that I needed to get on this TBR. So in addition to all of these lovely books, but in addition to these, let me tell you about a few others that I definitely am going to try to get to this next month. The very first one is my book club pick of the month, which is Notes on an Execution by Dalya Kufaka. This is a searing portrait of the complicated women caught in the orbit of a serial killer, compassionate and thought-provoking. I've heard great things about this. Every single month in my book club, there is a poll that goes on, which is how we choose what books we want to read together that month, and Notes on an Execution won. So this is the main book club pick. So I obviously will be reading this one. There wasn't a slot for it. There was no way for me to choose this for one of the prompts. So this one will for sure be getting read this month. And the buddy read for my book club, which is always the runner up in the poll. Ooh, it's a chunk. It is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. This is a big chunky fantasy. Oh my God, I just fainted, I think. It is literally 843 pages long. So this is also on my TBR, and I really hope that I can get to it because I've wanted to read this for a long time, and obviously my patrons do too, and I want to be able to discuss it with them, so pray for me. These other 3 books, I honestly, after remembering what my buddy read was, how long it is, I don't know if I will get to these, but one that I really, really want to get to is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. If you didn't know, I'm going to be on the Literally Dead book club in August, and the book that we're reading is What Moves the Dead by the same author. So I wanted to read her earlier work just for fun, you know, to test her out. And I want to say how much I love this hardcover. It's like a dog skull, dog skeleton. And the green is just so pretty. I have heard nothing but glowing reviews about this, and it says pure delight. T. Kingfisher uses the bones of fairy tale to create something entirely her own, which is super cool. I read the first like small paragraph of this book, and it already sounds like some writing that I will definitely enjoy. This was the other book that I was going to choose for my 5-star prediction, but then I bailed and chose Yoke, which I don't regret, but this was the one that was in my hand originally, so I really want to get to it. And the third choice for that 5-star prediction that I wanted to choose was Last House on Needless Street by Katarina Ward. This is like a horror thriller or something about a boarded up house on a dead-end street at the edge of wild Washington woods in which resides a family of 3. Teenage girl who isn't allowed outside, not after the last time. A man who drinks alone in front of his TV, trying to ignore the gaps in his memory. And a house cat who loves napping and reading the Bible. An unspeakable secret binds them together, but when a new neighbor moves in next door, what is buried among the birch trees may come back to haunt them all. It literally sounds so phenomenal. If I can get to it, I'm gonna try to get to it. So including all the books that I would really like to get to this month, this is what the stack looks like, but wow. But if we're just talking about the Spin the Bottle TBR, much more manageable, very cute, a lot of short books, so I don't imagine that I would have trouble reading these. It's just going to be not letting into the temptations of some other ones that I also really, really want to read before I read these, you know? So here we are. But that is all that I have for you today. So if you are still watching, then go ahead and leave the vampire emoji down below in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.